Hey Chris, do you remember what's this plug into again? Like,
Who are
how
you
does,
again?
Oh,
You're AJ, right?
right. Did
Yeah.
did Rona take your memory?
What?
You've tuned into the Bellingham Podcast for the week of February 13th, 2022. Yep, 2022. This is episode 205.
We're the 200s there.
From that slightly brain fog city from the Salish Sea, I am AJ Barce.
And back from a classified Black Ops engagement, I am Chris Powell. On this episode, AJ and I are back. We're going to talk about everything under the sun. I don't have a clever intro for this. Let's just get this ball rolling. This, dear listener, is the Bellingham Podcast.
Oh, Chris, when I saw your caller ID, I had to remember what we used to do. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing fine. Was that one from the state penitentiary? The caller ID?
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Exactly.
It wasn't 360. Oh, yeah.
For those of you who have paid subscriptions to the Bellingham Podcast, we'll be issuing money refunds in the mail.
In crypto.
In crypto. Yeah, hold that thought. AJ, what the heck have we been doing the past, forever?
Okay, so one, thanks to everybody that just checked in and made sure that we were okay. We did like our episode of like kicking off the year or kicking out of the year, and then all of a sudden
Cricket.
Even shout out to Kaya Marie to make sure that we were okay. Yeah, no. I guess I will start. So I mentioned last year that I had a really big freelance gig, destination wedding style, that I'd be covering and stuff. And in doing so, things kind of went a little teacup on me and caught coronavirus.
Yeah, it happens.
And
I'm sorry you got that, man. I'm sorry anyone gets this thing.
Yeah, so that kind of threw a little bit of a hiccup in things. But out of it, we got a really good show. And then as I'm on the mend and healing, what happened to you?
My beautiful wife got hit with some, she was down with the sickness,
Yeah.
if you will, and a whole lot of other stuff in the month of January. I don't even want to talk about it because we want to keep the clean tag on this podcast. But our beautiful daughter, who's amazingly intelligent and is destined for worldwide greatness. Is studying abroad right now and getting someone in flight for international travel. It's a daunting experience with all this involved. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. But it was just a whole lot of stuff. And I sometimes when you have the band, God bless ZZ Top. They were a three-piece for about 50 years. And every now and then they would just, after recording an album, they go their separate ways, do their own dalliances, and then come back, put the band back together, and bust out another album. AJ and I have been doing our solo acts.
Yeah.
I've been, working on the Canvas Insider podcast, the Canvas Insider newsletter for that EdTech stuff. AJ so eloquently mentioned in that station break last week or so. And I've been doing the Gray Man Technology newsletter as well. And you've been doing the Analog Explorer stuff as well. Plus, more that we'll be talking about later on in the show. A lot we're going to be covering later on in the show. Let's start with something else.
Okay, so let's dive into I guess now post-holiday travel and COVID and just experiences of travel in this weird, because I'm going to call it a weird phase that we're in the pandemic or epidemic or whatever demic we are in. Quite frankly, like, so when I got hit by COVID-19, it was literally it was New Year's. Like I was in flight for New Year's Eve and stuff. And, it was interesting because like, at that time, like Washington Post, I got a link in the Substack.
Take a shot.
That, they answer the question, like, you ask, I got COVID on vacation. Where should I report my case? Because obviously this last batch of holidays, like, Omicron was at peak and stuff, no matter where you were in the world. And out of that article and stuff, as I was one of those statistics, it was interesting to kind of go through it from a technologist standpoint of like all the ins and outs. And I'm a fairly savvy traveler, and even I made some pretty botched mistakes.
These things happen. Obviously, you can't walk on water.
No.
Okay. Mistakes occur.
So first things first, and I haven't gotten. I've asked our government for our free COVID tests. I still haven't gotten mine in the mail. So full disclosures.
Tests are in the mail.
Yeah, tests are in the mail. Still waiting for them, there, boss. Anyway, look, when I was in traveling, I was on the other side of the country, on the right coast, as it were, and I got used to how Whatcom here in 98225 deals with things. If you come into close contact, or if you suspect you might have Rona, you go down to the airport, you go to get your nose swabbed, you get your PCR test, and you're set to go. I forgot that other places in the continental United States don't operate that way. Not all Department of Healths are made the same.
The U.S. don't live like hashtag Whatcom life?
No.
Okay.
So, and I, I did know that, that was going to be a problem. So, but in my mind, I was like, I can always just go to the store and go get one of the simple rapid tests. Well, let me tell you something there, Nammy.
What is it there, Cliffy?
So when I suspected I had COVID, like we stopped at, the typical Walsh means or wrong aid.
Nice.
And I should have taken a picture. Again, I was not in good form, but literally if you go to the decongestant and cold aisle and COVID aisle, it was just bare shelves.
How about that?
There was nothing. So luckily my wife, who used to work in medical billing, did the whole phone tree to call Department of Health of the state we were in and try to find out where the COVID test sites were and if they would take insurance. Now, this is all happening before all of the new, federal COVID stuff had gone into play. But I have to tell you, Chris, like it was a bit of a shock when I couldn't get a COVID test. And obviously I have to fly home, or I need to know what's going on with me. And on top of that, I was working. So it was interesting because when we called around, my wife, thank you, beautiful wife, and she found a private clinic that would do it. We had to pay out of pocket because it wouldn't take insurance, but they would allow for you to bill back your insurance. So let me explain. When you call, and this is my little travel tip, okay? If you want to have a PCR test or a antigen test, and you're in a predicament where you're out of, what is it called? Out of cover, out of zone, out of network.
Out of network
For your insurance. When you call the clinic, ask if you can, if they provide the numbers and or forms for reimbursement for your health insurance. And if they say no, or if they say yes, ask what codes that they will give you or what forms, because there are, and my wife is going to probably laugh because I'm going to totally butcher what actual acronyms are. There's like a CPT and CPI code.
Chris Powell Technology and Chris Powell Intelligence.
And EIO, but find out what those are. Or what I would also recommend, call in advance, like, the area you're going to be traveling in, call in advance and find out, like, have a backup, a contingency, like find out, like, if you suspected you came down with the coronavirus, like where might you go, and call in advance to find out if they, take insurance or what they would provide. We didn't do any of that because, again, I got used to, Department of Health will take care of you. Just give a phone call. They'll send you, tell you where to go, or call the doctor's office or whatever. Well, when I landed and things went downhill fast, you're also in a mental state. Like, my wife was asymptomatic. She came down with it as well. She coughed like 5 times the whole thing. She was one of those people where it's like she didn't even know she had COVID. Me, on the other hand, I looked like death. It took me out, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, my experience with COVID was not like a bad cold, like some people say. It laid me up for 48 hours. And I didn't have any of the weirdness. And I'm, full disclosure, I'm vaxxed, boosted, and whatever. But, like, here's the thing. I had the brain fog stuff. I still have it. If you can't tell, if I sound off the stick as I normally am, it's been a month. It took me a month to get rid of the cough. I was on medical grade cough suppressant because I literally would cough so hard, Chris, which is why we didn't record. I literally felt like I was going to break a rib.
We don't like that.
It was bad.
Yeah.
But the learning lessons out of this was, call in advance and have a battle plan for where you're going if you're in an area like I was, in a state that you're not familiar with, because it ain't like here in Whatcom.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's always good. I'm the kind of guy that would take the dress rehearsals.
Yeah.
Take the what if scenario and play it out in your mind, or go through the steps in general. It looks like, when we go to Las Vegas, I'm going to pick at random because in the past I was able to fly to Las Vegas. You would go to a certain Kelp website to be able to look at the best restaurant or whatever. to go for, and you get what people would say. Why not kelp your town that you're traveling to see what kind of pharmaceutical options you have available? That's my first observation as far as a summary from what you mentioned. Second observation, AJ, once again, evidence is showing strongly that you married up.
Yeah. Preach. Yeah. we'll just end it right there.
Yeah.
A couple other things that so outside of the whole health insurance theory here in the United States aspect is I learned not all N95s and KN95s, and I can't remember what the other 90 whatever
1995s.
Right. Not all of those masks that you may get on Glamazon or wherever you may get them are legit. There are bogus N95 masks.
You're kidding.
I kid you not. So I found this out actually in the midst of traveling. I was chatting with some other travelers and stuff, and they had brought this up. Just because it's stamped N95, that's a NIOSH standard and stuff. So if your mask just has that, it doesn't necessarily mean it actually is. There's actually a number code that is supposed to be on the mask that denotes what batch, lot, and who made that NIOSH standard mask.
Huh. I guess I'll have to add another order for my Glamazon order in addition to the N95 rubber stamp that could go.
Yeah,
boom, boom,
exactly.
Boom. I get a second stamp that has these random numbers for the batch number.
Sure.
To make it official as my side hustle.
So out of this, I found out about, and later I heard that they made the rounds on like NPR. There's Project N95, which was a homie who literally just wanted to test masks and find out, you know, what masks represented themselves as like the legitimate thing. And so that site, apparently after NPR ran it, just almost DDoSed because everybody was using them as a reference. So it's been a few weeks, and you know, I'm just going to throw that out there. If you're curious about the whole, like what makes up an N95 versus KN95 or whatever, if you do a web search for Project N95, you'll find the resource. A couple other things. Travel insurance, because we were traveling during the peak of things and flights got canceled, delayed, shifted and stuff. And some people carry travel insurance. I would also throw out, check with your credit card provider. It just so happened that my wife's credit card carrier, if you bought the tickets on her credit card, they actually do complimentary travel insurance. So like luckily we made it on our flight, we were on a hair's edge of missing it. It would have been covered and protected, which is kind of cool.
That's great.
So just check that out as well. Something else that I did, and that was because I'm going to be straight up with everybody. If you thought before it was bad trying to get your carry-on luggage on a domestic flight in the United States, let me tell you something. It is worse now. Like it is no joke. The one of the flights that we were on, because we were on 3, one of the flights we were on, the airline, not to mention any names, basically was comping people who ever wanted to check their bag at the gate, which is common practice. But it got to the point, Chris, where they're like, you need to be aware your bag might not make it on this plane because the planes are so overloaded right now because there's not enough planes at the time that were doing flights, and the actual plane was at capacity for cargo as well. So, and in preparing for this flight, I had already thought about that in advance, doing the what if I had to relinquish my bag. So I got Apple AirTags. And threw them in my bags just in case we had to. Mm-hmm. At least I could try to find them. So I'm throwing that out. If you're in the Apple ecosystem, you may want to throw down, I think they're like $99 for 3 of them, and just keep the tabs in them until you're going to travel. That way the batteries stay good, or pull the batteries. But that's a great little extra travel
monitoring accessory.
Exactly. So the last thing that I wanted to throw out is at the beginning of the pandemic, I got a Garmin Instinct, which has a bio tracker on it for heart rate and stuff. And my technologist brain was looking at some of the white papers that Oura had put out during the pandemic with regards to using a fitness tracker as a way of COVID early detection. And I put the Garmin to the test because here I am now laden with Rona. And of course, I got nothing else to do. I'm going to check my vitals. And what was great, Chris, is it worked. Like the morning that I woke up and I was like, God, I don't feel good. Of course I don't feel good, but I'm jet lagged, whatever. I looked at the Garmin, and the Garmin has an algorithm for what's called body battery. It computes your heart variance, heart rate, stress, etc. And I woke up with a 8. 8. Now, you have to understand, this is on a scale of 5 to 100, because anything below 5, you have no pulse, you're dead.
Right.
So I woke up at an 8. I'm like, there's something wrong. Yeah, something wrong was I'm infected, but I didn't put it together yet because I felt under the weather, but I could have been, we took a red eye,
yes.
That type of thing. And it was interesting because for 2 days, I didn't go above an 8. And like I said, it took a while for my body to fight it off. So to throw it out, like if you do have that fitness tracker, I can say, at least with my biology, we are not health professionals. If we were, actually, I guess we can't say
Let's
that.
not even use that disclaimer
we should,
on this
we should
one.
do that one. That doesn't work. Check with your healthcare provider. But it was helpful for me to
Sure.
get through it because I had for at least 24 hours, resting heart rate of 120 to 130.
Yeah, times were tense, I would imagine.
It was not fun. That's what I've got on the Rona front.
Oh, just the
Tag,
for
you're
the,
it,
for
Hardy
the few
boy.
things that you wanted to throw out there. Yes, we put a youngin on a flight going overseas, and there were only a couple of things I wanted to at least offer evergreen ideas. A lot of us nowadays have a mobile phone that we have the app of the airline on there. It's a wonderful little QR code that they scan and so on. Just in case, this is more of the precaution side, print out the boarding pass just in case, and the confirmation number. Just should you lose battery and your charging mechanism is in your suitcase that is checked already and no longer in your possession. If you don't have a printer at home, I've been using this in the remote working era since I don't have a printer in my residence. In Bellingham and many other locations, Office Max has self-service printing, 15 cents a black and white page, and some more cents if you want to do a color page.
Oh.
So in case you wanted to print something out, PDFs, Word documents, blah, 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 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, 15 cents. Not bad when you consider the amount of toner cartridge you're paying for replacements for your handy dandy printer at home. Your mileage may vary. Also, as you're preparing for a flight, you have some important documents, especially if you're having to have test results, or if you're going international, you got a passport, your driver's license, whatever form of identification. To avoid any concern about where these might be as you approach flight time, pick a spot in your home, make that sacrosanct, meaning that's dedicated, and put your items there to decrease any stress that might occur with having to find your stuff. Should you misplace them? Hopefully you won't misplace them because they'll be there when you left it. And then also I got a online shopping behemoth link to a unique luggage tag. I noticed in the baggage claim area, there's a number of black suitcases out there.
Really? They're all black? They're Chris Powell approved.
Just everyone buys them at Costco and they're all the same style. And
sharper image sometimes.
Right. But and some people will have like the airline's tag on there, and to spend time flipping the tag, you might offend someone that is claiming their bag because they can identify that.
How doth you touch my bag?
Exactly. Back away there, infidel. There's a unique luggage tag that is fairly reasonably priced, metal, and it just, because I love metal. And the name is visible, but then when you slide out the card, it has the other contact information. Kind of cool for a security purpose. Thought that might be helpful for an evergreen. But AJ, my gosh, after all the success of Megaphone and Auto Flipper,
oh man,
for 2022, even though we had a little bit of time apart, we have a new sponsor for the show.
Oh, lay it on me.
Well, this is the thing, friends. You might have heard about the latest innovation that Amazon has concocted. Those cashierless checkout stores where you just walk out with your grocery items and you're automatically charged, right? Well, if you think those nerds at Amazon came up with that idea on your own, you'd be wrong. In fact, they stole that idea from our newest sponsor to the Bellingham podcast, Pronto Shop.
Pronto Shop?
That's right. Based in Hockaloogie, Texas, Pronto Shop is your most convenient shopping experience ever. In 2022, Pronto Shops are popping up all over the nation, and some sources say we might be getting one in Bellingham in the near future.
Oh my gosh.
Now, AJ, I know the question that's on your mind right now. Why would I want to get my groceries at Pronto Shop versus stores that have been around for a while in Whatcom County like Hagen, Winco, Fred Meyer, and Whole Foods?
Gee whiz, Chris, why?
That's right. Discerning shopper, please. With Pronto Shop, it takes your grocery buying experience to the next level. Stocked with fully sustainable, non-GMO, gluten-friendly, kid-friendly, senior-friendly, heck, even QAnon-friendly products. Competitive prices, quality merchandise, and quick, easy checkout with no cashiers and no lines. That's the Pronto Shop promise. But take note, dear listener, Pronto Shop is not for everyone. It's an exclusive shopping experience. So exclusive that they only offer a maximum 1,000 memberships for every store.
Oh my.
So these lucky 1,000 shoppers can join the Pronto Posse, their term, not mine, for a low monthly fee of $39.99 a month, in which 5% of the proceeds goes to local nonprofit organizations in the town, handpicked by Pronto Shop themselves. So now, if you're selected as one of the 1,000 valued members of the Pronto Posse, as they like to call you, you can quickly download their free app, available on the iOS App Store and the Android Google Play Store, and create your envy-worthy account by providing your legal name, home address, mobile phone number, no voice over IP numbers permitted, date of birth, social security number, 16-digit credit card, expiration date, and CVV. That's a 3-digit code on the back of your card. Then take a digital selfie of yourself for facial recognition as you enter the store for security purposes, of course, and allow the Proton Shop app access to your phone's entire contacts list. After this quick and easy registration, members will receive in the mail within 1 to 3 business days a limited edition, get this, AJ, a limited edition emerald green titanium Pronto card.
That's amazing.
It is. It's equipped with an RFID chip built in that allows them access into the store because, you know, green is a color of sustainability. See, once you tap your Proton card, the emerald green style, outside the store, Proton Shop's extensive proprietary video camera technology will send you text notifications guiding you to the deals of the day and other items of interest based on your previous credit card transaction history associated with your account. Just grab the items you want off the shelf, slip them into your reusable Proton bags, and walk out. It's just that simple, AJ.
Or even those Pronto bags.
Exactly. Those are sustainable and biodegradable in many cases. Our thanks to Proton Shop, the revolutionary shopping experience for the post-COVID era, for sponsoring this episode of the Bellingham Podcast. To learn more, visit www.thenewshiny.org. And don't forget to check out our previous Bellingham Podcast sponsors, Megaphone and AutoFlipper. Call area code 248-434-5508 to learn more about our fine sponsors to the Bellingham Podcast.
And Pronto Shop, for the record.
Pronto Shop, what did I say?
You did do a Proton Shop in there.
Oh, yes. Well, you see, I've been a fan of Proton Mail. You see, our sponsors have very relatable names to some of the products that we use.
Amazing how that is.
And so, you know, if Bellingham ever does get a Proton Shop, you know what music they'd be playing in the store speakers, right?
Well, other than metal, but KMRE 102.3 FM.
That's right. That community-powered, all-exciting radio station, also streaming worldwide on KMRE.org. Golly, it's been a long time since I did that.
we got to work on it. I'm coming back.
Thanks to KMRE for airing our show, at least we hope, Saturdays at 3 p.m.
Oh, I believe so, still.
All right, let's talk about some more good stuff. So let's talk about something different. I really have attempted to alter my information diet and just get a little bit of a variety of local news.
Yeah.
And so as I'm altering my information news diet a little bit, you know, you can go to the .com that we normally go to in Bellingham, which has a nice paywall on a lot of those articles. But there's some other sites out there that I want to make mention of. We've already made mention of one of them, but another one is Whatcom-news.com. It initially started out as Discover Ferndale or My Ferndale News, but I'm noticing, by the way, Joe, great work. A lot of county-wide news.
Bigger net.
And a whole lot of fish that they're catching to be able to put online. So, and they do have little tiny advertisement blocks out there.
Legitimate ones.
And I actually look at them just because it's homegrown.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty cool site. And I don't think they're going to be bombarding you with a whole lot of stuff. The next one, hey, AJ, I got a joke for you.
Oh.
What's black and white and red all over?
An old school newspaper?
Close. The Cascadia Daily News' logo.
Hey!
So as we talked about in 2021, Cascadia Daily News was going to come online in 22. Well, by cracky, CascadiaDaily.com is live and kicking. And a really cool, bold logo.
Of black, white, and red.
Well, white background, black and reds, which is very cool. I'm enjoying just seeing the news. Here's another place to get some information in your diet. And I wanted to give a shout out to one of the columnists out there, Margaret Bickman, in Cascadia Daily News. I have a lot of loyalty and a fondness for Margaret because way back in the day when I played bass guitar for a band called Fritz and the Freeloaders here in Bellingham, you might have seen me play anywhere from a house party to bars around, to the Whatcom. I'm sorry, let me try that again. The Washington State Fair. Oh my gosh, we played everywhere. Margaret was always kind enough to add us and our gigs in the Take 5 section of the local paper. So hey, glad Margaret Bickman's doing her little weekly column in Best Bets, and there's a whole other trove of reporters reporting some news. It's pretty interesting what they got going on. So check that out at CascadiaDaily.com.
Yeah.
Because, you know, with us as your primary news source, you got some close seconds out there. So anyway, AJ, what do you got?
I've got my quality assurance we could hit.
AJ, you have an event coming up. Let's publicize the crap out of it.
Okay.
Elsewhere than social media.
Okay. Well, cool. Thank you. So, yours truly got invited to do a talk for the Bellingham, the Whatcom Museum, and it's called the Travelogue. And so, I'll be talking about traveling and trekking with a toddler. February 17th, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the old City Hall. It is a live and, in person and live streamed event. So if you
live streams,
yes, I will be, matter of fact, when this show goes live, I will have the new link for, the live stream. So if you are not in this, part of the globe, you can watch it live and also be available on YouTube later. Or if you're in the Bellingham area, you can stop by and actually see me live.
You might even see a familiar voice in attendance, because how could I not attend something that my podcast partner in crime is doing? Yes, this is going to be a really great insight into traveling with a little. By the way, the Whatcom Museum suggests a $5 donation should you wish to arrive in person. I'm going to throw them 10. And I hope you'll join me. In-person programs have distance seating on first come, first served basis, and masks will be required for this event because some of us don't use breath mints, and AJ doesn't like being around people that have stanky breath.
Very distracting.
So it will be live streamed on the Whatcom Museum's YouTube channel, as AJ mentioned. So that is going to be must see, must attend events in the near future coming up.
And on that note,
that's right. It's a happy note. It's a communicative note. It's a sharing note of one's expertise.
Wow, we do sound rusty.
Oh yeah.
That wraps up this 205th edition of the Bellingham Podcast. Thank you again so much for putting up with us, rating us, reviewing us wherever you like to get this podcast. Remember, if you are in the Bellingham area, you might be listening to us, or so we hope, on Camp Marie 102.3 FM.
They are. Oh man, let me try that again. They're streaming all of the darn internet at kmre.org, and we thank them again for broadcasting our show Saturdays at 3 p.m.
Yep. And on that note, stay healthy, everyone. I'm AJ Barce.
Take your vitamin C. I'm Chris Powell, and we thank you again for listening to us once again on the Bellingham Podcast.
Man, I got some editing.
This is going to be a whole lot of editing.
Editing.
It's a whole lot of travel info.
That was brain fog.